So, good morning. Today we're going to discuss about Caro Mio Ben. It is one of the most popular arias of songs in the classical repertoire, and in fact, whosoever is pursuing classical musical training must be exposed to this particular song or aria. It really enhances and puts certain challenges to the singer to develop and hone their skills. Of course, a little about the text. Okay, I feel this is personally, I feel this is one of the most beautiful arias that we have come across, and it kind of stands out alone in the repertoire. It's not a part of any opera or any larger piece of work, but it is a song by itself, and of course, it talks about love and estrangement, and a sense of longing and. Uh, it longs for forgiveness, and all of that is encapsulated in this particular song. So, what exactly the singer here or the composer is trying to say here is, he must have done something wrong with his beloved, wronged her in certain way, and therefore he is asking for forgiveness. So I'm just going to take you over the words a little bit before we start understanding what we are dealing with. So it'll be really helpful. Okay, so Caro mio ben, credimi al men, senza di te languisce il cor. Caro mio ben, senza di te languisce il cuore. Il tuo fidel sospira onor, cessa crudel tanto rigor, cessa crudel tanto rigor, tanto rigor. And then again, Caro mio ben, credimi al men, senza di te languisce il cor. Caro mio ben, credimi al men, senza di te languisce il cor. Now, once we've had the text, we'll have to understand what exactly the meaning of this translation would be. It basically talks about my dear beloved. The singer is saying, my dear beloved, you're my spirit and you're my soul and you're everything to me. Caro mio ben, okay, believe in me at least. Without you, my heart languishes, my heart longs. And I have been faithful and I've been sincere, okay, for always. But I'm sorry for what I've done. Okay, don't be so cruel to me. Okay, and don't be so severe. Okay, my beloved, my dear beloved, believe in me that without you, my heart languishes for you. So it is a sense of longing and an estrangement, which perhaps comes through the text. And this is the very important aspect that must be reflected in the song. Otherwise, the poetry, as I always say, just loses its charms. So this is, of course, a ternary aria. So in this kind of format, we have A section, where the first section is the idea, a sense of proposition. That's the first theme that starts off, and then it develops in the second section from Il tuo fidel sospira nor, it goes into it modulates to a different key, and then again it comes back to the main key, the main theme, Caro mio ben, and bring the whole song comes to a conclusion, right? So this is basically the structure of this particular piece. It's very um, classical, and of course that's the important thing. So the first four bars is basically I'm using the C major score, so it's for the middle voices. Originally it was for E flat major. You can have a look at for the higher voice version also, but I'm looking at the C major version. So it is we starts on a C. Right? So what exactly happens is basically you're descending the scale. Okay, so you have to be very careful here, because in the sense that it starts very nice, so you have to make sure you have a very good diaphragmatic support, and you have taken a deep breath, your larynx is nice and lowered, it's not pressed, and you have arched your mouth and arched the velum at the back of the mouth in a very arched manner, and so that you have a lot of space there. Okay, and you are projecting the sound in the mask and in the forward, and not forcing the sound, but you're just like letting it flow. Okay, so you start with Caro mio ben, credi mia men, senza di te languisce cor. So it's very important here to also mark out the areas where we breathe. So that's the very important. The phrasing should come correct. So we are going Caro Mio Ben. That's where you breathe. Credi mia men, senza di te languisce cor. So Caro Mio Ben, then you breathe. Credi mio ben, then again a breath. Senza di te languisce il cor comes in one phrase, and that's where you breathe. That's a pretty long phrase, so make sure you breathe before you come in with the senza. Okay, so Caro mio ben. Okay, so the second time when you reiterate this, you could bring it a little softer, because it obviously begins softly. It's slightly like, you can slightly increase the volume. I mean, do a mezzo piano or mezzo forte, because it's begun with a pianissimo. You could go into a mezzo forte. Caro mio ben, senza di te languisce cor. So this is kind of reiteration of the first theme, okay? And I kind of sense there is a sense of ardent longing. So of course, when we want to really assert ourselves, okay, we kind of repeatedly say a particular thing once, twice, thrice. So here the singer perhaps is doing the same thing by reiterating the first sentiment of the song here, right? So, and then the piano develops and goes in modulus to the G major, and the mood shifts slightly. So this is development to the music. So you have a pianissimo and a slight crescendo. As you go along, you crescendo into a fortissimo. So Il tuo fido sospiro, and then you come in forte. And you bring down the voice, the volume, and you control it into a diminish, in a very soft diminuendo, and then crudo. So some editions has the slight accent on chesa, which basically makes you to accent that chesa. So seize this, I mean stop this cruel behavior. Chesa crudo. Again. And now a little reflectively, and then you attack it. I mean, not. You become forte. Let's say, not say attack so badly. and you can also go. Yeah, so you take that away and go into very, 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 very piano, piano, pianissimo. Then you start off with a tempo, because just before that tanto rigor you go into a rit, so the piano kind of gives the singer time to actually, take a poetic license there and really bring out the voice and pause. Okay, remember, pauses in between singing, okay, are very important because it brings out the essence of the song. So, and then again the tempo. Caro mio ben, credibi al me, senza di te non cresco. Now, here again the reiteration of the same thing over again, right? And then what's more important, there are small little ornaments. And I kind of feel that, here this is the last attempt where the singer is saying, please, please forgive me. So, Caro mio ben, and pure crescendo there. Senza di te. Now here in this edition I have simple notes. Te, I could add an ornamentation, perhaps a turn to make it a little more interesting. So it will give you a more color, a little more flourish to your singing. Okay, and you can bring down the volume, right, and you pause for a bit. That pause again very important. There's a rest. Okay, so you pause there. And really resolve the tension, and you finally finish off with the tonic chord, while the piano carries on a little bit and then finishes off on a C, and that's your song, right? This is the way we could approach the text and of course bring out the dynamics, okay, variation of dynamics by observing the crescendo, decrescendos, and the pianissimos, and the dynamic markings, and of course, make sure that it is very smoothly sung and there is a sense of legatissimo throughout your singing, okay, by connecting the vowels as evenly as possible throughout your singing. At the same time, there's one other aspect that I thought I would like to mention, is that when you start on the higher notes and you descend to the lower notes, okay, oftentimes I hear singers letting the sound drop, okay, so try not to do that, to keep it always in the mask, in the head and forward, okay. Seek a balance between your chiaro and the scuro, the light and the dark, and balance out your singing. Now, I would like you to hear a little demonstration of the same song by one of my fellow students who I'll be teaching, and I think I will get a better idea. So, happy singing and have a nice day.